Hey, welcome back to Salt
Sauna.
Soul.
That was different.
Trying to mix it up.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to get a little, my little Billy D and Barry White in there.
I used to have a crush on Billy D. Williams.
Billy D, every black woman.
I know, but I was a little
crush.
kid, and I was like, "Ooh."
He was a smooth man.
Colt
He
45.
was so smooth man.
I used to love when the Colt 45 commercial used to come on too. I was like, "Ooh." That was horrible. Okay.
So,
Anywho.
okay, you done with your Billy D? You know, saying reminiscing, your flashpoint.
I only
You
have
gotta.
for you.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. Okay. Anyway, that was a lot.
I don't even know how to respond to after that. Jesus. Okay, so today's topic, we're gonna deal with, what business and the community, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Since we're at the studio again, I thought you said we were gonna be at the house next time.
All right, first, let's get a toast.
Oh, okay.
Some of our wonderful tea, the mint blend. All
Cheers.
Right. Chocolate mint, spearmint, and what else?
Peppermint.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the only type of tea you can get in Halo Heat. All right.
We should have a jingle.
Mm-hmm. I want to twerk to it. Can I twerk to it?
No. No, never mind. Moving on.
Okay, we have a jingle. I take it serious. I can take the conversation serious.
Because the way you said it, it made me think, because okay, so wait. We're going to do an aside real quick. So now I did not grow up in Chicago, but he did. And apparently there was some old commercial, Adriana Furs. So if y'all know about this commercial. So he still walks around the house singing Adriana Furs.
I can sing the whole jingle right now.
No,
want me to.
No.
Get the warmth and luxury that you deserve, Ariana Furs.
We're not getting paid for this. Okay, so
but I'm sorry, I grew up with the whole that same.
I know,
jingle
but when
my
the
whole
way
entire
you
life.
just said Halo Heat Sauna Studios, all I heard was Halo Heat Sauna Studios.
Your jingle, okay.
But I don't want that.
You don't want that?
I don't want
You
the
want that?
Adriana
You
for
want that? You
no.
want that? You want that? Want something a little bit more,
I don't know.
jazzy.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, don't stop workshopping our stuff in front of the audience. Here.
We're not using that one. Feel free to use it. The fur company used it.
But if you hear a jingle in future episodes, you know this was the moment when the idea was born.
All right, moving on to the real topic of the evening, day, business, community. And I think, so we've done a couple of business-minded episodes. We talked about being entrepreneurs. We talked about the stress. We've talked about, I don't even remember. And so today we wanted to talk about community and in business and as, business leaders and like, what does it mean to us, I think.
Yes.
So.
And let's define it because people use community in multiple different ways. Yeah. Although you have, one way of people use community is your whole internally, you and your people, right? Your community. And then it's the other facet of like the broader digital community. What we're talking about is actually literally the community where the residents of your area, as well as the various businesses that is in your touch, in your reach. You can show up to their location. You can speak to the owner, like having that level of involvement and be a part of that level of community, which will encompass things like your Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. We are in two chambers alike, and then, this local municipality. But let's talk about particularly the one we also a part of, which is like Stroll magazine.
Yeah.
Let's talk
So
about that community.
yeah. So as you were saying, I think there's definitely, there's digital communities and brick and mortar when you think about brick and mortar. So I think a lot of stuff has been talked about with digital and like how to reach out.
Yeah. I'm not trying to.
So we're not even going to tackle that. We're talking about good old brick and mortar or people that deal with people directly, not digitally necessarily. And so Stroll, shout out to Stroll.
What is it?
Is I was getting there.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn
Adriana.
Okay. We're getting too black here. All right, come on.
All right. So Stroll is a magazine. It's in different communities. I think it might be a national chain under the N2 company, but they usually are in some of the higher end neighborhoods, and it is focused on specific neighborhoods. So within our area, there's a couple of different neighborhoods that have the Stroll magazine. And then even our neighborhood has its own magazine. It's not Stroll, but it's um, a neighborhood magazine. And usually in these types of magazines, they're very focused, hyper local. So you'll usually see like your neighbors on the cover of them, or like scenery from the area that you reside in. There's articles about things that are happening, locally. There's, highlights of businesses that are supporting that specific area. And so one of the things that we decided to do when we opened up the sauna studio was said, okay, how do we get involved with the local community? Now we live close to where the studio is. And so we said, since we're here and the studio is here and we're using our ability to have the studio to help the community, how do we get that word out even more so that people know that, hey, this is something that we're doing on behalf of us, but also you too. And so we partnered with Stroll to help us get the word out into some of the local communities. And in addition to that, you really do get a chance to meet the people within those specific neighborhoods and community, because they have like little get-togethers. And so we said, hey, let's host a get-together for those neighbors and invite them into our space, let them use the space so that they can understand like what we offer. And also, maybe give them, a special kind of like incentive. And so I think that was a great way to gain even further exposure, allow local neighbors to come in and explore the space, which they may, like they've seen us in the magazine, but they, may or may not have already actually been to our facility, and they, gives them a chance to, no pressure, just ask questions, learn more about what we offer, and try stuff out. Again, no pressure, and see if it's something that would benefit them. And so I think as business, leaders and owners and entrepreneurs, finding different outlets to be able to really engage with the local area that you're serving is a great way to boost your brand presence, as well as show the community that what you have to offer in a way that is not forceful.
Okay. Let me add a few elements into
Go
this as
for it.
well, right? And so that's exactly true about Stroll, Neighborhood Magazine. All of that is pertinent. Um, Let me add a little extra as to why to engage in your involve in your community. Donna is correct that there is ways to kind of basically do a soft, non-pressure. It's really more like non-pressure or car salesy kind of approach to get more people in your doors, to get them to know more about your services. But it also does this. It's a force multiplier, right? So business owners, one of the things that is great to like find something that allows, because Stroll has the magazine. You can just pay for the magazine, and it was that alone, accessing those two neighborhoods would have been sufficient enough. But because they do a monthly meetup, whereas a hybrid between businesses and the residents of the community, what it allowed us to do, and we saw great benefit a couple of days ago, is that it allowed us to basically from there be able to get the word out into more spaces with more people. So although they have never came over here, so one, we had a whole bunch of people that never actually came over into the space, even though they're just like 5 minutes away. Two, as a company, we felt that it was really a successful event because we can tell, and we was very organized about that evening to make a good brand impression on them, right? We got to tell one, our story, um, how we came about, our story, and talk about what we've been doing since moved over into the space, our story in terms of where we headed, right? So when a customer just come in off of like a mailer or a social media post, they don't get all the time. You ain't explaining to them what's your expansion plans and all these other things. But in these spaces, you letting a broader community know exactly all those other facets of your story. And then last thing is we personalize the story for them. They walk out of the space having something to tell that they was in and they tried this. They did this and they tried that piece of equipment. They did this and they, like one young lady came in and she was like, "Oh, I've been having some allergies or allergic reaction to something in the air and I was kind of clogged up, and I didn't even know that my ear was clogged until I went into the space, had a salt treatment, came out, and then one side I already drained, and I feel better." And then on top of that, from that story that she had for integrating and participating on that event, she came in the next day and bought a couple of sessions. And so, yes, there is a great push and importance for social media, but traditional engagement, community engagement, is also still one, pertinent and relevant. Two, is not a waste of your time. It actually can do things that social media can't, because you can tell your story, all the different levels of your story, to a group, and then from there, when they speak about our business, they know about the franchise, and they know about the teas, they know about the pieces of equipment, and then they know about how they felt before they came into the space, and then after, and then they have the narrative of, "I met the owners," or I met their staff and I got taken care of. Those are all individual stories that social media solely for a post may not be able to capture all those things.
Yeah.
So there's merit to doing and finding community engagement and community meetups and have an opportunity so you can actually feature yourself in that space as well.
Yeah.
I just want to point that out.
And I think the other thing even added with that, so for those clients that you may have that have been in your space or have, used any services that you're offering, using them help you as your advocate. So there was a young lady that was in attendance at the event that we were hosting, and she was already one of our clients. So she lives in the local area, met us at a different event. We had told her about it. She brought her daughter in, fell in love with it, got a membership, and comes. And she had been trying to get her husband to come in because she's like, he needs to, de-stress, so he should come in. And so because they live in the area and are a part of that neighborhood, her husband came to the event with her. Now, she got here even before him and proceeded to tell everybody that she was already a client of ours. And then proceeded to show everyone around and, talked about all the stuff. Like and I was like, you want to work here? Because you can work here. We need some help. You can come, you can just work here, you get free membership. So come on and work with us. But she was so and so you cannot pay for that kind of advertising. Like, your clients are your best asset. You treat your clients well, they will go to bat for you and tell everybody and just evangelize your stuff. So it works out in your favor to truly be a part of your community.
Yes.
Work with your clients, really, show that true, empathy to whatever it is that you're trying to solve for them. And they will go to bat for you and say, yeah, no, this place is the place that you should go. And so, I mean, we there's no way we could buy that kind of.
And then for like Donna, last point, no way you can buy it. Also, the great thing is you don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
Once you have that, you don't have to. It's free, right? It's free. It's only was the initial experience. That's what it cost you. Giving a customer, right? Someone participating in your space, that great experience from the very beginning is the only thing that really costs you. From there, you have a force multiplier of someone going out and advertising and promoting and bringing in individuals to you. And all you're doing is continue on the quality service that you have presented from the very beginning. And if you are an ethical business owner, that's something that you're doing every single day, whether anyone shows up or not. And so given that, it costs you little to nothing. It only costs you to be who you truly are and how you truly value any customer that comes in. And so we can't speak on it enough that how valuable getting engaged with your community. And then from there, the other thing is to point out how valuable it is that you get involved with the community. That means more people, right? You're talking about you can do groupings of individuals. And that's something that you kind of want to really, really focus on too. Find ways where you can get groupings of individuals to partake at the same time, ideally, in your service, in your business, or whatever. If you can just because it's just an info session, right? Knowing that if you're smart and strategic, you have a call of action, you have maybe some plan of metrics to try to say, hey, what are the things that the deliverables at the end of this event beyond just exposure of your brand? Do you want someone to buy certain products and goods? If they bought 10 things from your retail space, is that a win? Is it, they bought one insurance packet or something like that? Is that a win? If it's something that, hey, I captured a lot of these phone numbers and emails for people to seem interested, I can then follow up with them and have my team explore opportunities with, saying, is that a win? Or is it a hybrid of it all? But don't just do events and not have a plan, some strategy into it. And don't do events without thinking about how you want to move and navigate people in the space of your event. So the roadmap, winging it can bite you in the butt. Or you have to be a rock star to always wing it. And not everybody have that type of gregarious personality.
That's stressful.
And if you're not that, if I'm not the person, hey, how you doing? All of that, then I can't really pull off being in a group. No, our approach is that you can be,
Well, your staff.
You're kind of shy.
Yeah, I am.
You know what I'm saying? I'm more outgoing, and you find a way to kind of do something that still allow you to be somewhat you, and then leverage, like you said, staff, right?
Yes. Well, and I was going to say with the staff though, when you wing it, you actually put more stress on your staff.
Yeah.
Which is not good, and the outcome will not be good. Mm-hmm. So you do want to, as Franklin Covey says, start with the end in mind. Yes. What is your end goal that you're trying to achieve? And then work backwards to say, okay, what are all the things that we need to do in order to help us get that end goal? Yes. And as you mentioned, I think one of the things about doing community events, they're great lead generators. They really are. They're great lead generators for your business. Mm-hmm. Other types of community events, we've done stuff with the chamber. We haven't really talked much about the chamber. Local chambers are phenomenal for small business owners. Highly recommend you find out what ones are available for you in the area you may reside, and join and see what they have to offer. So we're a part of 2 different chambers because we sit like in between 2 different cities. And I was at a chamber event this week where it was like business lunch with the leader, and so they had a speaker that was just got to pick a topic that they wanted to talk on, and it was all different business owners and entrepreneurs and some executives in the room. And the topic that she spoke on was basically planning and how she does it for her organization, as well as using it as a part of making large scale transformations. And it was really interesting. So I met some really cool people while I was there. So got a bit of networking in, did some exchanging of cards, even actually gave one of the ladies there a free session. I had a coupon in my purse for a session with us, and she was talking about that she had heard about us she was playing pickleball with somebody, and they mentioned that they had come in, and she was like, oh, I've been meaning to try to get over there. I've heard about you. And I was like, you know what? I have a coupon. Here you go. First one's on me. Come on in. And so great opportunity to network, maybe get a potential client. And then as I'm sitting in the actual, once the session started where the lady was giving her presentation, now I'm sitting there and I'm getting a refresher of like things that yes, I knew these things, but you know how time goes and you're just like, oh, you get down into the minutia of every day. All of a sudden I'm back in like a class setting almost, and I'm getting hey, here are things you're supposed to be doing as a business leader. If you're trying to do a transformation, here's one way that you can think about it, and here's some things that you really should remember as you're doing that transformation. And we've just gone through a transformation here. We've had to change over our entire staff. We are trying to go into franchising. We are trying to move, the needle on, membership growth numbers. There's so many different things that we're doing at the same time. And it's like, oh, this was like the perfect thing for me to be listening to right now. I do need to make sure these things are tying together. I do need to make sure that my staff is aware of this, and this as these changes are occurring. So as a business leader, have a mindset of you should always be constantly learning, and then figuring out how you can do some of that. Your local, again, Chamber of Commerce is great, a great place to start, because they always have different business leaders that are willing to give information to you to help you out.
And so I absolutely correct. A good chamber can be a great resource for your development as a business owner, right? Or continual encouragement. Sometimes you're just like, oh my God, You need to hear from other people that's going through the crucible of what you're doing, just to kind of have a sounding board. But nonetheless, it's a great resource for that, for your own business development as an owner, as a business professional. Another thing that you pointed out, and I just want to kind of highlight and extrapolate of that, is that Donna talked about, and this is a facet that I really want to bring up, is about finding opportunity and then also generating opportunity. Using these community activities or with the chamber. And so instead of, yes, you can go there and just partake, be a sponge to absorb, right? Hoping that maybe something extra or greater will come out of it. Or you can do things where you actually bring some strategy in your thinking to see, are there opportunities in this room? Are there people that are like-minded, or our business are somewhat aligned, that maybe I can forge a relationship with, that can help me with something with the business? Is there something that goes on that other people will give me insight on what's happening? Whether it, like a lot of times we did, especially with the older administration with Richard Irving, we was talking, trying to get understand exactly, like, are there business grants and things of that nature that we can draw on as a resource, right? And that you have to ask, you have to probe. In these settings is a great opportunity because you can also pick other people's brain and say, oh, and you find out what other people was able to do. But you have to be mindful that you must seek some of that out, right? It's not just going to fall into your lap. And last thing is generating the opportunity. Having something, it's like basically using these networking or these community events and having some soft form of call to action. If someone you vibing with, what do they do after they just spent 10, 15 minutes of a great conversation with you? And you told them about your business. You told them what you're trying to do, but then you just walk away. Yeah, they know more about you. They know that you exist, but leverage it to maybe have a secondary meeting.
Yeah. How are you going
Or
to get
come
them to
and get a
remember you?
service, or bring the family. Like, leverage it, because you've generated the opportunity in the sense of just having a prolonged conversation. But we also sometimes waste it because we leave it there. You left all that enthusiasm right in that moment, and then you parted, went one way, the other person went the other way, and it just sit here, and it didn't generate to anything. You know, you're like, why do I'm going to these meetings and it's not helpful? Well, that's on us to make sure that it's helpful. So be creative. I would say that, and I think, and this is the last point I want to say about the whole overall topic that I want to kind of encourage or give a piece of nugget of wisdom. If you can have, um, very frequently and not too many days apart, a follow-up meeting and assess, how did you do? If you don't have a leadership team, or someone that you can advise that is like a business coach or whatever, do it for yourself. Reflect on how did the experience go, even if it felt like it went well, it was great, cool. So what are the things I did well?
Yep.
And then what are the things I can actually like improve? And then look at the opportunity of, like, what did I didn't use that moment to capitalize on, that I probably could have, if I thought just a little bit more creatively. Ask yourself those three questions, or ask your team those three questions, and see what comes of it. And then adjust those events, just your engagement or your team's engagement with that. For example, we learned that we need to work on, when we having a big event, we need to work on flow of how we move people, right? Our attendees in our space. And so we're going to try a handoff model where, and then we also want to try where we having different tours start at two different ends, so that because we have bottlenecking, but without thinking about it, we wouldn't have thought of those strategies to implement. Then we also realized that for our retail, we call it our gallery space, we don't do a great job
of activating it purposefully.
We sold a fair amount.
Yeah, people went over there on their own. We didn't even usher them over.
But we did not.
Yes, so that was a lost opportunity.
Or whatever, to talk about all the wonderful things that we have built and cultivated and have there. That we even have stuff on sale that we actually need to unload, but we didn't talk about it. And so now, yes, it was a successful event, but it wasn't as successful as it could have been. And now we have things on stuff to work towards to improve. And once we get our process down, we will be better, our team will be better, and eventually it will just run in a sense of like a structure and autopilot. This is our way of actually doing some of these events. So just keep that in mind. Reflect, have those meetings, pick at it. Also celebrate your triumphs, but pick at stuff because you might be surprised that other stuff you could tweak to make it even better, to be more successful. Yeah. In the end. So that's my last point I want to really highlight. Yeah. You want to say?
No, I think that kind of touches on it. So yes, get out in your community. Yeah. Get some FaceTime with the residents that are close to your business so that they know about your business. You know, take part in your chamber, your local chambers. If there's any kind of magazine, like a neighborhood magazine, see if you can get a part of it, or if they're do special events, host special events in your space. It helps bring people in and helps you engage with broader audiences. I think that's what we really hit on.
Yeah, and reflect. Yeah, and reassess and refine. And do that as much as possible, constantly, and you will get better. Your team will get better, and you will see more fruits of your labor. With at least not the same level of work, actually. Yeah. Just get easier. It gets easier.
This is a good topic, I think.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think people like the business topics.
So
if there's something you guys want us to cover, be it business wise, we'll put those in the soul episodes, or if it's health wise, we can put those in the Salt Sauna episodes, and
we'll take it from there.
Let us know.
If we can answer it, we will answer it. All right, guys. Till next time on Salt
Sauna
Soul. I'm trying.
Ability.
I'm still working on it.